Good morning. It's very, well, somewhat early in the morning. Today's May 31st, and it's rather cool for this time of year. I think I woke up and it was a little hovering around 50 degrees. And as you've seen, I've given you a quick little tour of the yard and what's going on so far and how things have changed since the last time we took a walk around. If you're new, my name is Eileen and welcome to Through the Garden Gate. And here we just give updates on different gardening projects that I've got going on. I do a lot of vegetable gardening and also gardening with native plants. And that's one of the things we're going to work on today. I've been promising a tour of the garden behind my garage for a while, and other jobs have taken precedence over that over the spring. And today's the day where I'm going to tackle behind the garage. So I'm going to give you a little quick tour, tell you what I want to work on, and then you'll get to see me tackle this job. And we'll do a little bit of a before and after. I'm hoping it won't take too long. We've got some other projects we need to accomplish today. Not so much in the yard, but in life. So I'm going to take this quiet time in the morning to enjoy a cup of tea and then do some battle with this garden behind the garage. I'm going to try and get it done as quickly as possible. As it warms up, the mosquitoes will get a little bit more active as well. So stay tuned and we'll see if we can get this garden into shape. Thanks for joining me today. All right, so I've finished my tea and it's time to get to work. So back here behind the garage, I do have the little bench, and there's lots of shade tolerant plants here. There's also a fair amount of weeds that I need to deal with, but one of the things I just wanted to show you was this path. That's a little challenging to see right now, and that's one of the jobs I have to work on, is these plants self-seed very easily back here, and the path kind of disappears right here. There's also some things like the zigzag goldenrod, which is right there, that can take over a little bit. So I may pull a few of those out. I have incredibly large Solomon seal. So just based off of how tall I am, this stuff is at least 4 feet tall, if not a little taller, but who knows, it does well back here. And then my neighbor has some kind of vine growing along the fence, and if it grows on my side, I'm allowed to trim it back. And one of my favorite little things back here are the red buds. And it's interesting, you'll see in the tour that I don't know if I showed it on the redbud tree, but the red buds in front, even though they were covered in flowers and covered in pollinators, I don't have seed pods on the ones in front, but these are just loaded with them. So I'm going to do a little research and see. Do you hear the wren? So that's the wren's nest box right there, and they've been very busy, so I think we have babies now. I'm trying not to disturb him too much, but I don't think he likes me being here. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm going to do a little research about red buds, see if they're male and female. Maybe these are too far away for the pollinators. I don't know. Anyway, so these are some of the jobs. First thing I'm going to do is tackle making the path a path again. Pulling out any weeds like this burr right here. I think it's like a burdock. It's pretty nasty. Not quite sure what this is. It might be a sunflower seed or sunflower growing from one of my neighbor's feeders. This maple leaf viburnum is making me happy because I put it in, I think, 2 years ago, and the bunnies nibbled it down to almost a nub, but it was pretty tenacious and came back. I think our neighborhood fox helped me with that issue. One of my favorite plants out here that just does really well is this maidenhair fern, and it's doing exactly what I hoped it would do, which is, I don't know if you can hear Earl barking in the background, but that means the neighborhood fox is around. So, and he knows I'm outside without him, so he's a little concerned for my safety. I'm not worried. But the maidenhair fern is doing great. You can see that zigzag goldenrod really does spread. earlier back here there was bluebells and columbine, and you can see the wild geraniums are finishing up. Mayapple in the back against the garage. And then there's a patch of, this is wild ginger. And then this is, you see with that serrated edge to the leaf, I think that's ragwort. Yeah, there's the last of the flower. See if I can, there's the flower. I might knock that back a little bit too. I also have wild strawberry growing back here. And it seems to just do its thing, but I might rein that in a little bit. The path gets very overgrown here. Here are the last of the bluebells. There's some black cohosh here. Not bad. Another patch of wild strawberries over here. There's some of the wild onion. There's one of the blossoms. This was the original patch of zigzag goldenrod right here, and it has spread quite a bit. So, and then along here, this is the blue cohosh, and you can see the berries just starting. Sorry. A little bit of remnant columbine. There's some short aster in here, but yeah, the zigzag goldenrod has gotten a little out of control. So we'll do a little before and after so you can see how much I actually take out. And then last year I added this little patch along the garage, and I just dug things up from other places in the yard and moved them in here. So there's some ferns and Solomon seals, wild geranium, wild ginger, columbine, and some Mayapple, and then some of the true Solomon seal just getting ready to bloom. A volunteer cottonwood tree, and then weeds in the crack. So I'm gonna pull some weeds in here and tidy this one up, and if I get time today, I'm also going to edge this a little bit so it looks like a little more defined. But yeah, there's just some patches of grass that have gotten in here. And that's what I've got planned for today. And try and keep this zigzag goldenrod where I want it, which is right around this stump of an old hickory tree. This also seems to be the, oh, here's a bloom from the wild strawberry. And they do produce a fruit. I think the chipmunks get to them. They're a tiny little strawberry. The chipmunks get to them way before we do. But I did notice on the wood pile, various neighborhood critters, the fox, the raccoon, probably mostly the fox, are using it as a marking station. So I'm going to stay away from the wood pile today. All right, wish me luck. I'll set the camera up so you can kind of keep an eye on how things are going through a time lapse, and we'll see how long it takes me to get this done. Not even sure what time it is right now. Probably close to about 6:30, 6:45. We'll see how long it takes. Okay, well, job done. Well, mostly done. You can see the path now. There's a whole lot less zigzag goldenrod now. So that mass of kind of yellowish brown stuff are just the Virginia bluebells. That's normal for them to fade away at this time. And I've gotten out most of what I don't want. I've gotten out all the weeds, all the plants that have grown between the stones. Trimmed back the vines from the neighbor's yard. And gotten out some of that ragwort so it doesn't take over. Freed up the maidenhair ferns so they can shine in all their glory. And cleared out all the, well, most. There's a little clump of zigzag goldenrod that I left. Cleared out a big chunk of it here so you can see the blue cohosh and the baneberry that I've got here. Left this little clump of zigzag goldenrod over here, but cleared out most, I think this is black cohosh right here. So we can start to see some of the plants that I do want to keep. Now there are some holes here, and nature abhors a vacuum. So I've been growing some things from seed, and as they get bigger, I'm going to transplant them back here into some of these holes. And some of the things that I was thinking of, I'm going to give it a try. I'm not sure it'll do great back here, but I've got a lot of blue lobelia, which can tolerate some shade. And I thought just putting a big mass of it right over here might be kind of nice. See how that works since I have so many. And then I do want to get more maidenhair fern to fill in along the path here, and maybe even fill in this spot right here by the maple leaf viburnum, so that the other things don't come back, because they're just lovely and they seem to do well back here. So I think that'll be on my wish list for the fall, is to get more of those in. And now it's time to, well, deal with all that. But then the next job is I'm going to come along here on the side of the house and tidy up this patch a little bit. So stay tuned for the next little job of the day. Welcome back. Finished up the garden project a few hours ago, and then had to run out and do a bunch of errands, so I didn't get a chance to show you the finished product. Let's take a look at what I worked on, and I'll show you just a little bit more detail what I was actually doing, because I know I have it pretty fast in the video. All right, let's take a look at what we've done. All right, so the last big project was to pull weeds and edge this garden bed along the garage. And you saw me doing that in the video with the edging tool, and then I took the shovel to kind of lift the dirt up, or the sod up a little bit. And then I came through and just flipped over the clods of dirt and put the grass down below, and we're going to see how that works. So it defines the bed a little bit better. And then what I'll hope for is that a lot of these things like the columbine, the Solomon seal, and the wild geranium will self-seed. Otherwise, I'm going to probably do what I did with the other garden beds. New beds this year is I'll go around and I'll dig up some things and transplant as the season goes along, just to fill in the edges here. And over the next couple years, as budget allows, I'll add in some low growing ground covers that will, fill in all that bare dirt. All right, well, that's it for today. Thanks again for stopping by. Please share in the comments below any big projects you're working on. And if you like what we've done today and you like the other videos, please hit that like button and subscribe. And we'll see you next time through the garden gate. Thank you. Earl, did you have fun working in the garden today? Huh? Did you have fun working in the garden? Or are you too tired? Oh, what do you got? What do you got, buddy? Say thank you. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And he's going to sleep. Bye-bye, buddy.